So you're okay. So because obviously, let's say if we think about the Hebrew language and we think about the Kabbalah and all these spells and everything, I mean, they are far more than just spells. I mean, these vows or whatever, or these words, they all carry a certain vibration in it, right? A certain frequency.
Yeah, when you look at like the principles that witches use, like invocation, right? Everything you say is symbolic, and certain symbols, whether they be written or spoken, they're connected to a certain spirit in the spirit realm, right? So if you say the name of a certain deity, you're invoking that to some degree, you know?
Have you ever broke down the tree of life? I know you just kind of little bit said about it, but have you ever like actually tried to decipher it from top to bottom?
I understand it. I understand what it means. It's evil. It's pure. It's basically the core of witchcraft. It's the core of the Babylonian religion. It's the core of Masonry. It all goes back to the Kabbalah. It all goes back to that, because if you know, like, when that word was kind of started to be used was when the Hebrew priesthood was taken into captivity in Babylon, and when they returned back to Jerusalem, a portion of the Hebrew priests brought back the Babylonian religion with them to Babylon, right? And there was this schism after that point between the original priesthood that was ordained by the Almighty and his laws, and then there was this other priesthood that had infiltrated with the Babylonian religion, and they started, I guess that's where the whole Kabbalistic word came from. And they also took the understanding of the Babylonian Talmud with them. So like Judaism today, they are basically the keepers of the Babylonian religion, or the Kabbalah.
You just said Talmud. Now, Talmud, wasn't that, to me, I always understood it as a direct word from God written in fire.
I'm talking about the Talmud of Judaism, the book, the Babylonian Talmud.
Yeah.
No, it's a very perverted, strange book. Very strange. Have you ever looked at some of the quotes out of it, what they believe in Orthodox Judaism? And this explains a lot when you look at how the world is controlled by these people, because what they believe is very sick, and this is their law. The Talmud is what they consider to be their ultimate authority for law.
Right.
And it condones pedophilia. It condones slavery. That's why they do these things. It's in their law.
Holy shit, because I remember I asked a rabbi, I was somewhere in the synagogue, and I was there with like a mashgiach and a rabbi. I don't know, I was doing some kind of work. This is again when I was a teenager, and there was literally a Talmud there, and I asked him what it was, and that's what he told me, that it's a word of God, and Talmud means written in fire.
Yeah, well, another question was which God?
Right,
right. Because so it certainly could be the word of a God, but not, the creator, not the good one.
So can you go into the Talmud a little bit, like perversion? Yeah. Like, really?
I can.
It's that bad?
I can, yeah. Hold on 1 second. And you have to understand too, with the Kabbalah, the whole doctrine of the Illuminati, that whole word, why it exists is because the principal spirituality of the Kabbalah is to receive wisdom from the serpent. That's the primary philosophy of the Kabbalah, is you receive illumination through contact with the serpent gods, which you can contact through the tree of life. And that's why they're called the Illuminati, is because they receive their illumination from the serpent.
Right, because Illuminati translates enlightened ones, right?
Yes. Yes, and that's a reference to the Kabbalah and dealing with the serpent, which is Satan, or some various degrees of reptilian beings, fallen beings with this reptilian energy behind them, right? But yeah, hold on. Let me do a screen share because you can read from the actual authorities on the Kabbalah and the Zohar, and it'll tell you what they believe, because I have them. Hold on. Let me know. Okay, do you see this?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Okay, we're still on the alien toddler skeleton.
Okay. Sorry. My fault. Just try this again. Give me one moment.
No, take your time.
Okay, there. Now you should see it.
Okay, let me pull it up. Yeah, this is man, I'm so glad you freaking told me this, man. Holy shit.
This is also, by the way, if you know the word Lucifer, it means light bearer or bearer of light.
Right.
So Luciferianism and the Kabbalah is interchangeable. It's the same thing.
Okay, why the bearer of light, man? Why that, man?
That's just what it is. That's how it works. Like, I mean, it's a real thing. There is this real being. I mean, even like look at the Aztecs, right? Like, why were they so obsessed with the serpent god? Why did they sacrifice so many people to the serpent god that didn't exist, right? It's a real thing, and it does give you wisdom. Like, what did the serpent give to Eve, right? He gave her wisdom.
Right.
He gave her knowledge.
Forbidden knowledge, right?
Yeah, well, there was good. He gave her good and evil. So before that, there was no evil at all. So what the serpent did, he gave her some good knowledge, right? But he inserted some evil into that, and that corrupted her.
But the serpent was already there, though.
Yes.
So Lucifer was already there. So, but he was already evil, no? Or whatever.
Yes. He had already rebelled at that point.
Right. Okay, so go into this mood, man. This is freaking, once again, priceless information, man, brought to you by Tomek, man.
Okay, so let me make a few points about Judaism. First, look at what Christ said, right? You wonder why he said this. Just think about it. John 8:44, he's talking to the Pharisees, okay? He said, "You are of your father, the devil. The lusts of your father you will do. He was a murderer and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him." Another time he said, again, speaking to these people, "I know the lies of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan." So why are they the synagogue of Satan, right? Again, he says that, "I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie," right? Here's a quote from Harold Rosenthal. "Jews do not like to admit it, but our God is Lucifer, so I wasn't lying. We are his chosen people. Lucifer is very much alive." So, I mean, a lot of these guys, when they're talking about God, they're not talking about the God of the Ten Commandments or the God that Christ prayed to. That's not what they're talking about.
Oh my God, man. Fuck, I am blown out of here right now.
So, I mean, the power, or, the God, or whatever you want to call it, behind the Kabbalah, which therefore would mean also in extension behind Judaism, which is the keepers of the Kabbalah, the Jesuits, who are again Kabbalists, and they're also Jewish, and they, that's part of the Vatican, and Freemasonry, which Freemasonry, when you read their texts, they tell you it's based on Judaism and the Kabbalah. So it's all about that. And what they believe, right, you can see redundant amounts of quotes on this from all these rabbis and even the Zohar, which is the fundamental book of the Kabbalah, which I highlighted, says the holy serpent is the fountainhead, root, and essence for all of God's sacred revelatory light.
Fuck.
Right? And then all these rabbis say the serpent is man's helper who provides illumination, The serpent gives transformative power and spiritual development. The holy serpent possesses great illuminating power. So on and so forth. Here's a guy.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just really quickly, man, please don't lose your train of thought. Is this where the whole story of King Solomon comes controlling demons and shit like that? Like, this is where I'm confused a little bit about now.
King Solomon? No, not really. I
Okay,
mean, he took aspects of the Kabbalah and he became involved in witchcraft.
Okay,
at one point.
We'll go back to that. Go back to this now, man.
But this is the core. This goes way before King Solomon was alive.
Right.
This is like the core doctrine of ancient Babylon, and that.
Yeah, I get it. I just kind of that popped up into my head, and we got to go back to that at a certain point. But yeah, go back to this, man. This is mind freaking altering right now, man.
So you see, right?
The snake comes as medication.
An angel sent to us. We should be grateful for the serpent. So I mean, Judaism is a snake worshiping cult at its core, and so is the Kabbalah. They're obsessed with this. A lot of the time, the tree of life is just represented with snakes.
Right. Okay, and this is all basically Talmud right here.
This is the Kabbalah. When you understand current Judaism, which comes from the Pharisees, they took two things out of Babylon. They took the Babylonian law, which is the Talmud. That's their law.
Right.
But their spirituality is the Kabbalah. Do you understand what I mean?
Right. Got you. But okay, so where does the whole Jews being enslaved by the Egyptians come in at, and being freed by Moses and shit like that?
So these are not Jews. Like, Judaism is not.
I get it. I get exactly. Yeah, I get it. You just read it to me earlier. So basically, they were enslaving the real Jews
in Egypt. Yeah, they were enslaving bloodline Hebrews.
Actual Hebrews. Okay, now I freaking get it.
So current people calling themselves Jews, their religion isn't Hebrew, it's Babylonian, and their bloodline isn't Hebrew, it's from Esau. It's part reptilian, correct? Yes.
Fuck, man.
And I mean, I don't want to like smear all Jewish people. I'm talking about elites.
Yes. But listen, if the rest of these motherfuckers are following them and praying to that and reading the Kabbalah and reading the Talmud, man, then what would you say? I mean, shit.
Well, it's an evil thing.
Exactly. Sure. Like so fuck. So now
a lot of them don't. A lot of them just don't understand. I mean, that's how it is with religions, you know. A lot of people they're just doing traditions and they don't understand.
They're born into it, right?
Yeah. Or they never even pick up these books. Like a lot of Catholics never even pick up. You know, they don't read anything. They just they do these traditions that they've been programmed to do. So I'm not gonna say all Jewish people are involved in this, but there's a very evil element certainly among them that is involved in this, and that element is very it's hugely overrepresented in any position of power anywhere in the earth, government, whatever.
If you think about most of now I don't even want to say Jewish anymore. Okay, so I will distinguish it like you do, Hebrews and let's say Jews, right? So
what I do is I say Jew for real Jews, but Jewish is their term. They so that's their term. There's no such thing as Jewish anywhere in the scriptures.
Right. So let's say, would you say that I should, like I said, call the real ones Hebrews and the fake ones Jews?
No, because Jews are from the tribe of Judah, right? Okay, so if you want to be like technical, you know what I mean? It would be, what I personally do is I just call them Jewish people because
Jewish people, got it.
So
if we were to talk about most of the Jewish people these days, man, they're most rich as hell.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep going with this, man. This is fucking Helena. Oh, look at this. You know Helena Blavatsky, man. She was Ukrainian, bro.
She was Jewish.
Was she? But she was like from Ukraine. She was from
Yeah, but she was Jewish.
Zhytomyr. I love it, bro. I love it. So she was Ashkenazi Jew, basically, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, I never even knew this. Yeah, the Secret Doctrine, man. I have this book somewhere, man.
Yeah, you see that quote, right? That's very revealing, that quote right there.
Please read it, man.
The true and uncompromising Kabbalist admits that for all purposes of science and philosophy, it's enough that the profane should know that the great magic agent is that which the church calls Lucifer, the vehicle of light.
Fuck. Wow, man. Spread throughout the whole universe. Direct, indirect works into Satan and his works. Lucifer and the astral light, like they actually call it astral, because I always used to refer the word astral and astral plane and things like that to like Wicca and you know, like magic of what we would understand magic as, like witches, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this is like boom right there. Rabbi Emanuel Rabinovich, he was like from Odessa or something. Oh no, he was from Belarus, right?
Not sure.
Yeah, he was from Belarus. I think he's buried somewhere out here, actually. Okay, this is pretty interesting, man. Can you
Well, okay, this is the kind of, what I'm about to quote is very common point of view among Jewish elite, especially Orthodox Jews, especially Zionists, and it stems from their beliefs in the Talmud that they are superior over everyone else, and we are basically, yeah, but we, not only are they the chosen ones, but we're just animals and they can do whatever they want with us.
Gentiles.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, not Gentiles even, but like goyim, which means animal, you know, or goy or something like that. But he's Rabbi Rabinovich in 1952, addressing a group of European rabbis, exclaimed, "The God for which you have," notice how he said, "the God for which you have striven." So, I mean, you know which God that is at this point, you know, after you seeing what they believe. So concertedly for 3,000 years is at last within our reach. Our race will take its rightful place in the world, with every Jew a king and every Gentile a slave.
Wow.
One of the top Israeli state-approved rabbis, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, said, "Goyim were born only to serve us. Without that, they have no place in the world, only to serve the people of Israel." Now, so you understand how important the Talmud is to them, right? It's actually it's the basis of all their law. They don't care about the 10 Commandments. That's not the basis of their law. The basis of their law is the Talmud. And there's a quote from Benjamin Friedman, a Jewish guy, who wrote a book kind of exposing Judaism called Facts Are Facts. He said the Talmud consists of 63 books of legal, ethical, and historical writings of ancient rabbis. It was edited 5 centuries after the birth of Christ. It is a compendium of law and lore. It is the legal code which forms the basis of Jewish religious law. It is the textbook used in the training of rabbis. So let's take a look at this textbook, right? What does it say? So here's one example from the Talmud, the book of Baba Kama, and it basically states that Jews may use lies to circumvent a Gentile, right? And you have to kind of read this over. I highlighted the main parts. It says, when a suit arises between an Israelite and a heathen, right? If you can justify the former according to the laws, justify him and say, "This is our law." So also, if you can justify him by the laws of heathen, justify him and say, "This is your law." But if this cannot be done, we use subterfuge to circumvent him, right? So like they're saying, you know, they can, if how do I put this? If there's an issue between a Jewish person and non-Jewish person, and they fail to reach an understanding on the basis of the Talmud or on the basis of the law of that person's country, then they're allowed to do whatever they want to get above that person, use subterfuge, so lies, whatever. But I mean, this is pretty tame compared to some of the other stuff in here, so I'm going to just quickly go through it. This one, again, Baba Kama, it says the robbery of a heathen is prohibited, although an article lost by him is permissible. So if you lose something, you know, they can take it. So they can set you up to lose something and then take it, in other words. How do I, okay, so for murder.
Yeah, go ahead. Fuck. I just seen something in the bottom, but go, yeah.
Let me just go to the really bad stuff, right?
Like when a grown man has intercourse with the little, what the fuck is that, yo?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's in there. Okay, it says pederasty with a child below 9 years of age is not deemed as pederasty with a child above that.
Fuck.
Pederasty with a child below 3 years is not treated as with a child above that. Only he that is able to engage in intercourse may, as the passive subject of pederasty, throw guilt upon the active offender. All right? Crazy?
Do you think
well, read this one right here. Read this.
Yeah. Which one?
Highlighted.
When a grown, well, is that one?
I highlighted it, yeah.
Yeah, when a grown man has intercourse with a little girl, it is nothing. For when the girl is less than 6, it is as if one puts the finger into the eye. What the fuck?
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I've looked these up in the like online Talmud, and they're there. What? And I mean, you see under that, right? It says, tears come to the eye again and again, so does virginity come back to the little girl under 3 years.
Oh my God.
This
is not cool, yo.
When they circumcise little boys, they actually suck their, you know, while they're doing it. That's actually the ritual. Yeah, look it up.
Do you think they
actually? That's what rabbis do. No, they do that. They do that. That's what they do. They suck the blood out. It's disgusting. I mean, that should be enough for anyone to be like, hold on a minute, what is going on here? You know.
Oh God, man.
There's more. I mean, hold on. I mean, there's all this weird perverted stuff, you know. I didn't highlight the important parts, so hold on, let me see.
Yo, people need to see this shit, bro.
Although the intercourse of a small boy is not regarded as a sexual act, nevertheless the woman is injured by it as if with a piece of wood. I mean, you know.
Oh my God, bro. Yo, my heart is like fucking being broken up into pieces right now, man. Like this is shit, man. It's blowing my mind, man. Cause I lived in the Jewish community. Have you ever heard of like Bukharian Jews?
No.
They're from Uzbekistan or whatever. But yeah, I lived in Queens, and it was like literally predominantly almost all like Bukharian Jews, and you know, I had a lot of rabbi and mashgiach friends, and you know, they talked about the Talmud and things like that. Like this is fucking me up right now, man.
Some of them basically turn a blind eye to these verses, but some of them actually use this. I mean, the real Orthodox rabbis, why do you think they're called Orthodox? I mean, they're strict with the law. And read this one, right? A maiden 3 years and a day may be acquired in marriage by coitus, right? Intercourse, in other words.
Right.
And if her deceased husband's brother cohabits with her, she becomes his. So a maiden 3 years and a day, right? I mean, that's like insane, you know.
It's, this is heartbreaking shit, bro. It's literally heartbreaking shit. There's literally like a little Crown Height. Crown Heights is literally, I would call, like a little city within Brooklyn of a large population of Hasidic Orthodox Jews, man. I see. That's one thing, man. Because that one year, there was in that community, there was a kid found chopped up into pieces in this one rabbi's like fridge, and everyone was like all shocked and shit, man. Like, well, this explains a lot.
Oh, there's a very long history of rabbis being caught stealing children, and in the past there was a lot of documentation about it, especially in Eastern Europe. They like to steal children for their blood, and they have this ritual where they mix the blood into the matzah balls on Passover.
Bro,
they also drink the blood.
Do you understand that you're talking about something that freaking the elders used to scare me with when I was a kid?
Oh, I even have a book, I think, that talks about all the historical cases, even modern ones.
Oh, bro, that's what the elders used to scare us with to not go outside. Exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
You're blowing my fucking mind right now, man.
Here's a book called Blood Passover by Ariel Toaf. I think it's all about this topic, basically. Let me see.
Fuck, bro. Holy shit, man. When did you come across all this, man, and start piecing this up?
Well, remember I told you I was kind of looking at every religion sort of thing to see what it was about, and I mean, this is what Judaism's about. And I mean, this is actually, it's not just Judaism, because Judaism is a cover for the ancient religion of Babylon, which all the Illuminati
major religion.
They have this religion.
Well, because if you think about it, Islam stems from Judaism, right?
Yeah.
But so does
even the
Christianity.
Symbol. Yeah. Well, Catholicism, indeed.
Catholicism, right?
Yeah.
Even the symbol, you were gonna say, even the symbol
of Islam, this crescent moon and the star, that's a symbol of Babylon. It's in a lot of the seals from ancient Babylon. They had that exact symbol.
You were about to pull up a book or something? Because I was just gonna ask you something else, but I don't want you to lose your train of thought, because I always make you freaking hop all around. Even though you don't hop around, you always stay on point somehow, man.
I was just trying to find, this book, it talks about all these cases of rabbis kidnapping children, and documented, especially before the age of anti-Semitism, before that was a word. A lot of documentation on this, but I'm having trouble finding it, especially with the pictures and stuff, because there's pictures of like little Ukrainian children that were being ritualistically drained of blood, and then they were finding these bodies. Real cases, and I mean modern like cases with photos.
I heard about this shit, but when I was a kid, I thought it was just a way of the elders to scare us, man, not to go outside and shit.
But see, they view us, right, as their animals, basically. So what do you do with an animal, right? You sacrifice it, eat it, use its blood, do whatever you want to it. It's like a farm animal. So Slavs, to them, they've ruled us for a very long time, more than 1,000 years. So
yeah, they say the Ashkenazi's been around before like the 4th century, man.
They come from the Khazars, right? So Khazars adopted Judaism in the 7th century or the 8th century. And that's where the term Ashkenazi Jew like started, was with the descendants of those people. And the thing is, the Slavs defeated their kingdom, the kingdom of Khazaria, which was ruled by Pharisees, and those Pharisees, they basically sprinkled out into Eastern Europe after that, and they hate Slavs because of that, because they used to have their own little kingdom, which was based on slavery, and it was based on robbing us even at that time. But when we destroyed it, they started, there's been this agenda against us ever since.
But they are okay. So they, let's say, so they have the DNA of giants, right? Pharisees, giants.
Okay,
right?
Let me sort of, but like, to be clear, because the elite class, yes, they have
elite.
Yeah, they have the DNA within them, and that's why they're so obsessed with preserving bloodlines and genealogies, and
with all the even incest and all that shit, right?
Yeah, even terms like demigod. Why those terms get thrown around is because they're very aware that they have a connection through their father Esau to Canaanite giants